In just 94 seconds, one question about Ghislaine Maxwell's sudden shift to a luxury prison camp detonated the biggest lie an FBI director had ever told Congress. The confrontation wasn't planned to be explosive. Even Schiff didn't expect the documents he held to send the room spiraling into a shouting match that would dominate global news cycles for weeks. But when the trap finally snapped, every camera in the Senate chamber captured something Washington hadn't seen in years: an FBI director completely losing control on live television. September 16, 2025. The Hart Senate office building had that heavy, electric silence that only appears before political disaster.
Senator Schiff. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, during your confirmation hearing, you made several important commitments. For instance, you told Senator Coons there will be no politicization at the FBI. There'll be no retributive actions taken by any FBI should I be confirmed as FBI director. So let me ask you very specifically, did you ever take any action to terminate or discipline an FBI agent or employee in whole or in part as retribution for being part of an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th?
No.
You also committed, you assured Senator Blumenthal, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. So you're testifying today that you played no role in the firing of even a single FBI agent for political retribution.
None for political retribution.
And if any FBI agent said you did, they would be lying. Is that your testimony?
I'm only speaking to my actions. Everybody is allowed to make their allegations.
Oh, no, these are allegations against you.
And
so, Mr. Patel, if FBI, senior FBI agents or employees said that you were firing them for political retribution reasons because of the cases they were assigned, you're saying they would be lying. Is that
anyone that was terminated at the FBI was done so for failing to meet the standards, uphold their constitutional oath, and effectuate the mission.
Well, by meet the standards, are you talking about meet the standards of protecting the president under any circumstance?
No.
You also guaranteed Senator Blumenthal that every FBI employee will be held to the same, absolute same standard. No one will be terminated for case assignments. Are you testifying today that you never terminated anyone at the FBI in whole or in part because of a prior case assignment?
No one at the FBI is terminated for case assignments alone.
Well, I'm asking about you, Mr. Patel. Did you, in whole or in part, terminate anyone at the FBI because they worked on the Trump investigation or because they worked on January 6th?
No one at the FBI has been terminated for case assignments alone.
Okay, you're saying alone. Does that mean they were terminated in part because they were assigned to a January 6th case or assigned to the Mar-a-Lago case? You're being very precise here, Mr. Patel. You're saying alone. That means they were fired in part because they were assigned those cases. Is that your testimony?
Absolutely not. But if you want to keep putting words in my mouth,
then let me ask you, let's strip away the word alone. Did you terminate or participate in any discipline of any FBI employee in whole or in part because of their work on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th? Yes or no?
Any terminations at the FBI by employees.
No, I'm asking you a very specific question.
And I'm going to answer the question, but you don't like the answer because it's the truth and it guts
want
your
an answer to my
narrative.
question. I don't want an answer to someone else's question. So let me just be precise, and I ask for a yes or no answer. Did you ever terminate or discipline an FBI employee in whole or in part because they had been assigned or worked on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th?
FBI
yes or no?
employees are only terminated
Yes
if
or
they
no,
fail
Mr.
to
Patel?
uphold their oaths of
Yes or
office
no?
and duty.
You're not
at the
answering my
FBI
question.
I don't have to answer your question yes or no because you're setting up a trap so you can have a media
I'm
narrative.
not setting up a trap.
And I'm not giving it to you.
Unless it's true that you fired people.
People
in
have
whole
been
or in part
terminated at
because
the
they
FBI who fail to uphold
were
the
assigned
standards
to.
that the FBI requires them to
tell,
uphold.
Did you tell anyone at the FBI that all FBI employees who they identified who had worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
Say that I would remove people for case assignments?
That you would, that people that were identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs. Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
People are not removed for
Just
case
answer my question.
assignments.
Just answer my question. Did you tell that to
People
someone?
are not removed for case
No,
assignments.
you're not answering my question.
And I would
Mr.
never
Patel,
tell anyone.
did you tell someone at the FBI that FBI employees identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Yes or no, did you tell someone that?
I would never tell anyone at the FBI that they're being removed for basically their case assignments.
Okay, so anyone who said that would be lying. Is that your testimony?
Anyone can say whatever they want.
No, I know, but you're saying they were a liar.
I'm telling you what I said.
Because this is in the complaint against you, Mr. Patel. So you're saying Mr. Driscoll and others are liars?
I'm not going to address the complaint in the ongoing
Okay, well then let me ask you, have you ever told anyone at the FBI that the FBI tried to put the president in jail and he hasn't forgotten it, and that your job depended on the removal of agents who worked on cases against the president?
No.
Did you ever tell anyone that?
No.
Okay. Did you ever tell anyone that you knew these summary firings you were undertaking were illegal, likely illegal, and that you would be sued and later deposed? Did you ever tell anyone that?
No firings at the FBI or terminations were done for anything other than justified
Did you ever
cause.
tell anyone that, Mr.
No,
Patel? Why don't you
no
answer my question?
terminations at the FBI were ever done in my tenure for anything other than failing
Did you ever
to
tell
uphold
anyone
their
that,
oath of
Mr.
the
Patel? You willing to
office
answer
or
the question?
The FBI.
I guess
I
you're
have
not willing to
answered
answer the
it.
question. So let me move on. Let me
Repeatedly.
move on to the Epstein files. You said you're the most transparent FBI director in history, so I'm going to put you to the test. In 2024, you were asked by Glenn Beck about Epstein's Black Book. And you said, he asked, who has Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book? And you said, Black Book FBI. And he said, but who? That is, I mean theirs. And you said, oh, that's under the direct control of the director of the FBI. That's what you said. Was that true, Mr. Patel?
I'll rely on you quoting it accurately. I did that a couple
Was
of
it
years
true
ago.
what you represented to Mr. Beck and the president's supporters out there, or were you lying?
No,
Was it true that the Black Book, Epstein's Black Book, was in the possession of the FBI director?
The Black Book was in the possession of the FBI.
Okay, so now that you're the FBI director, you have possession of the Black Book, right?
That index has been released.
So you have Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book?
What is known as Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book has been released by us.
And you released it. And let me follow up on Senator Kennedy's question, because he asked you, and I'll be very precise here. You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? And you said, himself, there's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And Kennedy, the information we have, again, is limited. And Senator Kennedy said, the answer is no one. And you said, for the information we have. So is it your testimony today that in all the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself? Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never
Patel?
said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone else.
Did he traffic any young woman to someone other than himself? That was Mr. Kennedy's question,
And I
Senator Kennedy's
said
question.
the information that 3 administrations have had access to
I'm
have
asking
made
you-
determinations that there are no investigative leads that were credible to prosecute and investigate any others. I'm specifically
I'm asking
stating
you whether
we
it's
were
your
working on.
testimony today.
Well, you just read
that
it, and I said it 10 minutes ago, so let the record reflect my
I
testimony.
just want to make sure there's no misunderstanding, because there are victims like Virginia Guifer who have testified otherwise, who have said otherwise, and you're telling the American people today that the Epstein list is a single name and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're to believe?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying, and
Well,
you can say whatever you
Let
want.
me ask you this. When Todd Blanche went to interview Ghislaine Maxwell,
Senators sat in their polished mahogany desks. The lights were brutally bright, and Adam Schiff, calm as a surgeon preparing for a decisive incision, sifted through a manila folder that held the single document capable of ending a career in under 2 minutes. Reporters sensed something was coming, leaning forward, fingers hovering above keyboards, waiting for the moment the hearing shifted from routine oversight into history. What made it so shocking was that just moments earlier, Kash Patel looked unshakable. He had endured 3 hours of relentless interrogation. Questions about the bungled Charlie Kirk case. Questions about his controversial decision to fire senior FBI officials. Questions about the missing Epstein materials that had become an anchor chain to the administration's reputation. Through it all, he maintained the same measured tone and stiff posture he'd perfected over decades in government. A crisp navy suit, a polished badge gleaming under studio lights. Not a hair out of place, he dodged difficult questions with the calm discipline of someone who had done it 1,000 times. Senator, that matter is under review. I'm not at liberty to discuss that in open session. Those operational decisions were made by career officials following proper protocols. He looked like the one man in the room who couldn't be rattled. But the topic that could crack him wide open hadn't been mentioned yet: Maxwell's August transfer. The move so quiet, so strangely convenient, that federal judges whispered about it in private chambers. Maxwell, the convicted trafficker with ties to powerful figures and foreign intelligence networks, had been relocated from a medium-security facility to a gentle, nearly open-air camp where inmates cooked their own meals, walked freely, made regular phone calls, and enjoyed privileges reserved for low-risk offenders. Even the Bureau of Prisons staff felt uneasy about how quickly it happened, and Schiff had waited 6 weeks for the right moment to bring it up. At 2:47 p.m., Chairman Dick Durbin recognized him. The gavel echoed through the chamber, and the room fell still. People sensed the air shift. Schiff straightened in his seat, adjusted his glasses, and spoke with a calmness that carried the weight of someone holding all the leverage in the world. Director Patel, Schiff began, I want to ask you about a decision made this past August regarding Ghislaine Maxwell's prison placement. The effect was instantaneous. A ripple went through the entire room. Several Republican senators sat back in their chairs. Democratic staffers exchanged fast glances. The live audience stiffened. Even reporters jolted slightly, as if the name itself had activated some buried alarm system. Patel didn't move at first, but something in his face changed. Not dramatically. Only a skilled observer would have noticed, but enough. His jaw tightened. His eyes narrowed just a hair. His hands, which had rested loosely on the witness table all afternoon, closed around the wood edge with enough force to pale his knuckles. His pupils widened under the lights. Small cues, but unmistakable if you knew what to look for. Schiff recognized them immediately. They were the tells of a man preparing to lie. Patel inhaled slowly, then replied with the carefully rehearsed neutrality of a seasoned bureaucrat. Senator Schiff, I'm not sure I'm familiar with the specific decision you're referencing. Those matters are typically handled by the Bureau of Prisons, not the FBI. We don't involve ourselves in the day-to-day management of federal correctional facilities. It was a classic move: deflect, attach the decision to another agency, claim lack of recall. The kind of answer that works 90% of the time, especially when dealing with obscure administrative matters. Except today, Patel wasn't facing a typical situation. He was facing a trap designed specifically to make that exact dodge impossible. Schiff, almost expressionless, opened the folder in front of him. The gesture was so deliberate, so controlled, that the entire room seemed to lean in. No one knew what he was about to reveal, but Patel's face told them it was bad before they even saw the paper. Director, Schiff said, lifting a single document so the cameras could catch the letterhead. Allow me to refresh your memory. If the Senate floor had been carpet instead of marble, you could have heard a pin drop. There, under the bright lights, was a memo printed on unmistakable FBI letterhead, complete with classification stamps and the formal layout of an interagency directive. Even from across the room, senators recognized the seal. This, Schiff continued, is a memorandum dated August 12th of this year, authored by you personally, and in it, you recommend the immediate transfer of federal inmate Ghislaine Maxwell from FCI Tallahassee to FPC Alderson. The impact hit Patel instantly. The veneer of confidence he had held for 3 straight hours dissolved like sugar dropped into boiling water. His face flushed and reddened so quickly it looked like someone had hit a switch. His lips parted, but no words emerged. Only a thin, strained exhale caught clearly by the room's microphones and broadcast live across national television. Senators froze. Staffers stopped moving. Even the camera operators steadied their hands, realizing they were capturing a generational political moment. An FBI director cornered by his own signature. I don't recall authoring that. Patel finally stuttered. Like I said, Senator, prison placements are handled by. Schiff didn't let him finish. Director Patel, he said sharply, would you like me to read your own words aloud? He raised the document and, without breaking eye contact, began to read. For reasons of institutional security and administrative efficiency, I hereby recommend the expedited transfer of inmate Ghislaine Maxwell to a minimum security facility. This transfer should be processed immediately without standard review protocols. Signed, Kash Patel, Director, Federal Bureau of Investigation. The chamber erupted in an instant. Gasps echoed from every direction. A journalist in the second row whispered, "Oh my God," loud enough for nearby microphones to pick it up. Even senators who rarely showed emotion stared openly, stunned by the magnitude of what they were witnessing. There was no ambiguity, no wiggle room, no possibility of misinterpretation. Patel had testified, under oath, that he didn't recall authoring any memorandum about Maxwell's transfer. 80 seconds later, Schiff held the document up for the entire world to see. Patel's defense collapsed. That is not what that document says. Patel burst out, his voice cracking from the strain. His composure evaporated as panic took over. You are mischaracterizing an internal communication taken completely out of context. But Schiff, calm, steady, almost surgical, pressed harder. Director Patel, this is your signature. Correct. Silence. This is FBI letterhead. Correct. More silence. These are your own words. Correct. Patel opened his mouth again, but nothing coherent came out. Only fragments, accusations, scattered thoughts. He was unraveling faster than anyone could have predicted. You are weaponizing oversight, he finally shouted, pointing at Schiff with a trembling hand. This is partisan harassment of federal law enforcement. Schiff didn't flinch. Did you sign this memorandum, yes or no? The question hit like a mallet. No escape. No dodging. Millions watched live as Patel's career hung in the balance. Senators from both parties shifted uneasily. His staff sat frozen, staring at the table as if hoping the moment would pass without anyone looking at them. Patel tried to pivot again. Senator, you're taking a complex interagency process and Schiff cut him off with the sentence that would replay on cable news loops for the rest of the year. Director Patel, you testified under oath that you did not recall this memo. I am holding it in my hand. Were you lying then, or are you lying now? And that was the moment the chamber exploded. Patel shot to his feet, so quickly his chair skidded several inches backward, scraping loudly across the marble. I will not be accused of perjury by, sit down, Director. Schiff snapped, raising his voice for the first time that afternoon. The command echoed like a clap of thunder. Cameras captured everything. The fury in Patel's eyes, Schiff pointing at the document, senators shouting over one another, Chairman Durbin pounding his gavel uselessly. Staffers rushed toward the witness table. Security edged closer, unsure whether the clash was about to escalate physically. The confrontation had shifted from political tension to outright chaos. This is disgraceful. Patel screamed, voice slipping into desperation. You're destroying institutional credibility. You lied under oath about protecting Maxwell. Schiff fired back. You moved a convicted trafficker to a luxury camp and tried to hide it. The hearing had turned into a historic meltdown. Two high-ranking officials yelling across the chamber as millions watched in real time. Then Schiff delivered the blow that froze the room mid-breath. You transferred her because she has information on powerful people. You did it to keep her quiet. A dead, heavy silence crashed over the chamber. Patel's face, empty, pale, mouth open, no words. It was the first moment he looked like a man who understood his career was finished. Durbin finally restored order, threatening to clear the chamber. But nothing that happened afterward mattered. The damage was irreversible. Patel's attempts to walk back his statements sounded hollow, strained, almost incoherent. Senators didn't believe him. Reporters didn't believe him. Viewers didn't believe him. And his own staff looked as though they were watching the ruin of their boss in slow motion. Within minutes, #PatelLied was trending globally. Clips of him shouting at Schiff spread faster than wildfire. TikTok edits, Twitter reposts, YouTube analysis streams, memes of his face turning red. Even conservative commentators who normally defended the administration backed away. "This is not good," Ben Shapiro posted. "You can't deny signing a document that is literally in your hand." As hours passed, more dominoes fell. Whistleblowers from the Bureau of Prisons leaked that normal review protocols were bypassed. Maxwell had been given unusually lenient privileges. "We were told this came from the top," one officer said anonymously. "Move her immediately. Make her comfortable." Judges told reporters off the record that they were stunned by the transfer. Legal experts called it textbook perjury. By October, Patel was politically radioactive. Even the White House began distancing itself. The president stopped using Patel's name publicly, a move everyone recognized as the beginning of the end. Law schools added Schiff's 94-second cross-examination to their curriculum. Professors called it the cleanest, most effective dismantling of a witness in modern congressional history. A masterclass in preparation and pressure, because sometimes the most devastating moment in politics isn't a dramatic reveal or a fiery speech. Sometimes it's just a senator with a folder, a signature, and the courage to confront a lie while 47 million people watch. And once a lie breaks in front of that many witnesses, there's no putting it back together.